To all those who called me crazy for backing Jordan Lawlar in 2026, I have one thing and one thing only to say. What do you think about him now?
You are Locked On Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up and welcome to the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, the show where we talk nothing but the D-backs every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. I'm your lifelong D-backs fan and overly obsessed host, Daynen Biggs. This episode is brought to you by MLB The Show 26. Visit MLBThe.show/locked on to use code locked on to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Pre-order now, available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. Now, Jordan Lawlar is somebody that at the end of last season, a lot of people were calling a bust. A lot of people, including, I was thinking it this, as well, especially when he had gone the majority of the season without recording a single hit. It was kind of looking pretty dire, but the whole time, as frustrated as I was with Jordan Lawlar, I still could see that he had the talent, he had the skill, and he had that really high ceiling. The thing that I dreaded was that maybe he is just the kind of guy where his ceiling wasn't as high as we thought. And it was just the ceiling of somebody who's really good at the AAA level, but could never break in to the major league level. That was my biggest fear. Not that he didn't have talent or anything like that. I just was afraid that he wasn't going to make it beyond the skill level he was at. However, he records a double for his first big league hit in 2025. And then from there proceeds to hit tons of doubles. And every other hit of his, more than half, were for extra bases to close out the season. And he actually ended up with a pretty decent average and OPS. If you just count for the time from when he got his hit until the end of the season. If you just count that, not bad. So I went into the offseason thinking, okay, I think he's figured it out. I think he's got it. It's clicked. And now he needs to go into 2026 full steam ahead. And he has been taking advantage of this spring training, and he has been showing that he's got a lot of skill and he's applying it very well. Now, granted, he is playing against a lot of minor league pitchers and guys who, are still just kind of getting started. People he would face in the minor leagues where he was, doing well. So there is that to consider. It's not like it's a done deal just yet. But in the game yesterday against the Dodgers, on the second hit, or the second pitch of the game, Jordan Lawlar hits a solo home run against Tyler Glasnow. And Glasnow is not a minor league pitcher. He is a very, very good major league pitcher. And he was able to crush a home run off of him to start the game. So extremely impressive. And this was his fourth home run this spring training. So it's definitely not like a fluke. It's not like he's hitting a home run and then that's it. No, he's crushing it. He's doing really, really well so far. In spring training, as of now, at the age of 23, he has 33 plate appearances. He has 9 hits, 5 of which are for extra bases, and 4 of those are a home run. He has 5 RBIs, and he has walked 6 times, struck out 9 times. So his strikeout rate is a little high, but his walk rate is really high as well, which was something he struggled with last season. His pitch selection left a lot to be desired. This season, he seems to have a much better eye. He seems to be seeing the ball much, much better. His batting average thus far, which again, this is a small sample size, but it is growing. It's getting bigger, and the batting average is remaining fairly high. His batting average is .333 with a slugging of .815 and an OPS of 1.269, which is, an OPS over 1 is incredible. Obviously, again, I know this is a small sample size, but he's off to a really good start. He's showing a lot of good stuff. And a lot of our much better players, objectively better players, more experienced players, are not hitting like this. So Jordan Lawlar is doing a lot of really, really good stuff. And it is so exciting. However, in this game against the Dodgers, Jordan Lawlar was not the only one to shine. Brandon Pfaadt got the start. He was set to go for 3 innings, nearly finished 3 innings, went 2 2/3. I don't think there was anything stopping him from going the full 3 innings, except they probably had a cap at 40 pitches for his outing. I know that Lovello is being very careful to ramp these pitchers up to where they are going to be. So I'm sure he said 40 pitches and that's it. So he went 2 2/3. He did give up. Now, okay, so let's start with the bad stuff. He did give up 2 hits and he hit a batter, which resulted in 1 run. So he didn't have a perfect outing. He also gave up 2 walks, but in those 2 2/3 innings, he did have 4 strikeouts, and they were nasty strikeouts as well. He was making batters look silly. It was really, really great. He threw 42 pitches, 26 for strikes, so nearly identical to Zach Gallen's outing recently, give or take a few pitches. And honestly, was looking pretty good. If you're just looking at the box score, that maybe doesn't look super great, but luckily this game was televised. We were able to watch it, and yeah, he looked good. His sweeper is disgusting. He seems to have a pretty good handle of that sweeper, which is his main pitch. The reason he said he struggled last season was because they were kind of trying to reinvent the wheel with his arsenal, and kind of were tweaking his sweeper and tweaking his other pitches and trying to build off of those other pitches. And he said what really worked best was when I had my sweeper and I built everything around that. And that was what he did yesterday. He did throw a lot of curveballs and cutters, and in the first bit of the second inning as well, he was missing a lot with the curveball and the cutter. Curveballs in the dirt. A cutter came in and hit Kyle Tucker, which, funny enough, there's a video. He hits Kyle Tucker, and you can hear a fan in the background say, "He's $400 million. Handle carefully," or something like that, or be gentle or something. But anyway, he was missing a good deal with a lot of those, but as he was going out, as he was pitching more and more, they seemed to get a bit more in control and where he wanted them. So that's very promising, which, again, a lot of these pitchers right now, they're just workshopping their secondary pitches, their off-speed pitches, the things that they don't use super frequently, because right now, if they mess up and they give up a, RBI double to Freddie Freeman, it's not a huge deal. So experimenting with a lot of that kind of stuff. He also was noticeably dominant against right-handed hitters while struggling with left-handed hitters. The lefties are the ones that he would walk. The lefties are the ones that got, base hits and things like that. So still working on that, but against righties, he's untouchable. It was so fun to watch him make those guys look just ridiculous. So that was pretty fun, pretty exciting. And honestly, at this point, if Jordan Lawlar, Brandon Pfaadt, a couple others, Alek Thomas, Zach Gallen, and maybe to a lesser extent, Pavin Smith, Nolan Arenado, if they have improved seasons this year, so at least what they did last season, but they can improve on that some of them in a big way. Lawler and Thomas, I think, can improve in a big way. Gallen as well. But even in smaller ways, like, Smith or Arenado, if they're able to just kind of improve on what they did last season, then, man, the D-backs are going to be in a pretty good position. Offensively, they're going to be great. I'm already expecting good things from them offensively. I don't think that's going to be a struggle. But if Brandon Pfaadt and Zach Gallen can both show up with their A game looking better than ever, then we'll have them. We'll have Merrill Kelly. We'll have Ryan Nelson. So 4 really good pitchers. Eduardo Rodriguez has not looked bad so far. And if he's able to, I should have included him here too. But if he's looking better and then Corbin Burns comes back and he's looking good, I mean, that's going to be a pretty great spot to be in. So we lost this game against the Dodgers, and we'll break it down a little bit too, but I feel better right now than I did before the Dodgers game, honestly. So that's pretty exciting. And let's go ahead and break down that Dodgers game, though, because there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of things that I want to look at and dive into with that game, on that game with you right now.
Hey, this is Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds. And I've reached the point in my life where my wife and I are looking toward the future. We've got the house, we've got the career, we even have an awesome dog, but now we need to secure that future. That's where Ethos comes in for us. When I look at this insurance or that insurance and I try to pick one, I might as well be reading an entirely different language. Ethos clears up the noise and gets me set up with exactly what I need, because Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, and it's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/lockedonmlb. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get a free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/lockedonmlb. That's ethos.com/lockedonmlb, ethos.com/lockedonmlb. Application times and rates may vary.
MLB opening day is almost here and you can feel it. Fresh starts, big expectations, and that first crack of the bat. Whether it's a breakout rookie like Jordan Lawlar, a division race that goes down to the wire, which won't be the National League West because the Diamondbacks are going to run away with the division, obviously. There is nothing like being in the ballpark for it. The only problem, getting tickets can be a bit of a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, and prices jumping at checkout. That's why there's Game Time. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's simple. It's super simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. And even though I personally probably have every square inch of Chase Field memorized at this point, having the seat views feature is huge. I can see the panoramic view from my exact seat before I even buy my tickets. 2 taps and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees, just great seats in minutes. That's what makes it so easy to decide last minute to hit a game. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON, one word, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. We're back. And I wanted to say thank you so much for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen of the day. We're going to be hearing your comments on everything here after this next segment, so stay tuned for that. It means the world to me to hear your guys' input and your thoughts, and it's so fun to talk with people who feel the same, have the same feeling and opinion about the Diamondbacks as I do. It's usually kind of weird to talk with people about the Diamondbacks because they either don't care or they know a little bit, but not very much. And so then I start talking about well, Ryan Waldschmidt is looking really good. And they're like, who? And I'm like, he's our number 1 prospect. And they're like, what's a prospect? And I'm like, okay, never mind. So it's great. I love chatting with you guys. It's super fun. So thank you so much for being here. And to have even more chats, this was an accidental segue. You guys can actually join the Everydayer Club, which gets you ad-free episodes and access to our group chat on Discord. So we have a group chat in Discord just for Locked On Diamondbacks, though there's other sports there as well. But it's super fun. It's super exciting. A few of you are already in there, and I love it. It's so much fun. For the next week or so, you can use code SPRING for a free month. go to lockedondiamondbacks.supercast.com or tap on the link in the notes below to learn more. Anyway, let's talk about this Dodgers game. Not because we have to, but because we want to. Anyway, the Diamondbacks Dodgers game ended with the Dodgers winning 4-1. It was another low scoring event. Again, the majority of our offensive players, the ones that offend people, our offensive players are not currently available because they're playing for their countries. So it's not a total surprise to see that across spring training scores are a little bit lower than they usually are. So that's just what it is. Also, I didn't talk about the World Baseball Classic at all, just because I'm not super dialed in on it, but I did watch Italy and the US play in the World Baseball Classic, and that was kind of a bummer. So, and the USA had to give up so many runs because basically, if it comes down to it, if Mexico beats Italy in the next game, then it comes down to the tiebreaker, and because all three teams would be tied, it would basically go to, well, who gave up the most runs? And with the USA giving up 8 runs yesterday, doesn't bode well for us. But anyway, then I'm rooting for Dominican Republic, I guess. Anyway, we're not talking about the World Baseball Classic. That's about the fullest extent of my knowledge on the World Baseball Classic at the moment. But recapping the game, on the second pitch of the game, Lawler hit a solo home run off of Tyler Glasnow. Super awesome, super cool. Brandon Pfaadt in his first inning hit Kyle Tucker on a cutter in and just kind of missed with that one. He said afterwards that his cutters, by the time he was getting it going, was feeling really good, except for that one that hit Tucker, he said. And then after that, he gave up an RBI double to Freddie Freeman. So that was his one run. Pfaadt threw 42 pitches and nearly finished the third inning. And yeah, pitched a pretty good outing. We already talked about that. In the fourth, Cade Stroud came in, and I paid extra close attention because he hasn't had the best appearances, results in spring training thus far. And sure enough, he ended up giving up 2 singles, a double, and an RBI ground out. So after him, the LA took a 3-1 lead. Now, to be fair, and I'm going to make a little bit of an excuse here, and it is an excuse, but one of those singles, the first single, was a slow roller up the middle that the shortstop had ready to get. Who was shortstop today, by the way? Christopher Torrin. Torrin was getting ready to field it, would have been a clean out, and it bounced off of the bag at second, bounced up over his head, and he ended up getting the single. So rotten luck, really, at that one. And then the RBI ground out, it was hit to Stroud, but it hit off the bat and it bounced off the ground and popped way up in the air, and it hung in the air for a really long time. By the time Stroud got it, he was between the pitcher's mound and home plate. Like, he was really close, but there was not a play to be made, so he threw it to first, which was the right thing to do, but it did score a run. Anyway, had either of those things, gone a different way, then the inning would have looked much better for Stroud. But again, if you're having to make excuses like that for a pitcher, that's not really a good sign. A good pitcher will take those things and will still manage to get out of them and everything. So not a certain, not a certain judgment on Cade Stroud just yet, but it seems to happen a lot where it's like, not a great outing, not entirely his fault, but not a good outing. And that seems to be happening consistently. So not great. Again, there's still a good deal of spring training left, and then there's a whole season ahead of us. And he has minor league options still, so we can still send him to the minors if needed, if he needs to take some time. And he could still develop into a really, really good pitcher this season. So, but he doesn't seem like he's the the prodigy that's ready right out of the gate. Like I think maybe we were kind of hoping, but anyway, aside from that, Tim Tawa doubled, Luken Baker singled in the 6th. Neither that didn't score a run. Loaisiga threw a perfect inning with 2 strikeouts. Brandon Garcia struck out 1, allowed a base runner on an error. It wasn't his fault. Also had a pass ball, but no runs scored either. He had a strikeout. And that was the game. It was a pretty quick and uneventful game, really. Our offense was silent, but the other thing to keep in mind is that Jordan Lawlar, Tim Tawa, and James McCann were the only major leaguers in the lineup. And you could argue that they're all secondary players, position players. If Lourdes Gurriel is healthy and Alek Thomas is doing well, then Jordan Lawlar is kind of a backup. And then Tim Tawa is a utility guy who's used when needed, and James McCann is the backup catcher. They were the only major leaguers in the lineup. So when you're like, oh my gosh, they only got 5 hits and 1 run, it's like, well, there weren't a lot of super experienced players out there at this point, players that you would expect a lot of production from. But Jordan Lawlar went 1 for 4 with a home run. Tim Tawa, as I mentioned, went 1 for 4 with a double. James McCann went 0 for 3, but did reach on a fielder's choice. Luken Baker did get 2 hits. Lou James Groover got a hit, and that was it. So still not great. Waldschmidt had 4 at-bats. He struck out once. He didn't get any hits. Amaya didn't get any hits. Mercado was kind of hoping to see something from him. Didn't see anything. So we still had guys that normally do something, and we didn't see anything from them. So not great. But not the end of the world either. And then our pitching was all right. I wouldn't say it was fantastic, but Pfaadt looked really good. Did give up a run, but looked pretty good. Bryce Jarvis came in for 1/3 of an inning and struck out Max Muncy. So perfect 1/3 of an inning for Bryce Jarvis. And then Loaisiga and Garcia both looked great. Stroud struggled. So that was all our pitchers. And or no, that's not true. We had was it Anderson Ross who also came in. He pitched 2 innings, gave up a run. I didn't include him in my notes, so there you go. So anyway, not a huge game, but again, as I mentioned in the first segment, Jordan Lawlar, Brandon Pfaadt are showing phenomenal promise going into 2026. So that is all very exciting. It would have been nice to win this game, but it's not the real big thing. One thing though that I did want to cover really quick is that our current bullpen situation is kind of coming down to the wire a little bit. So right now, if everything goes the way it is right now, our bullpen will have Michael Soroka, Ryan Thompson, Kevin Ginkel, John Curtis, I think is probably going to make it, Paul Sewald, Taylor Clark, and that leaves 1 to 2 spots left. Now, all but John Curtis are on major league contracts, meaning we can't just send them to the minors if they're not doing super well. We have to DFA them, which if they clear waivers, then they can go to the minors. But also if they have at least 5 years of service time, which I think maybe not Thompson and Ginkel, but maybe, I don't know. But they can also just say no and just become a free agent if they don't want to go to the minors. Not sure that any of them would, but that means that we have 5 players that are essentially stuck in the bullpen. And then we have 3 that we can kind of bring in and out. And that's John Curtis, I think. We have Brandon Garcia and Philip Abner, who are our only lefties at all. So with Saul Frank and Puck being injured, that's all we got. And then we have Cade Stroud, who I think a young arm and a lot of promise, maybe is ready, maybe isn't. I don't know. I wonder if he's going to get the opening day make the opening day roster. We have Dre Jameson. I think he has a fair shot at doing it, though he's been struggling a little bit. We have Bryce Jarvis, who I think will be in the majors at a good deal of the year, but I don't know that he's going to make the opening day roster. The one that I'm really curious about is Jonathan Loaisiga. He's got a ton of major league experience, and when he is healthy, he's really good. He misses a lot of the season, pretty much every year. So he could end up being a really good arm to include in the bullpen as well. But all of these guys were signed on minor league contracts, which means we can send them to the majors or the minors and the majors if we need to. As per my understanding, if you know anything more about this subject, please tell me in the comments. I believe that is the way everything works. And the other players that can't be sent to the minors, from the research I've done, I think that's how it is. Anyway, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts, your questions. So we're going to answer some of those right after this short break. So stay right there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. Skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. Here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast, the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Today, I am thrilled to be talking about our sponsor, MLB The Show 26. The greatest game in baseball is back with its newest installment. Baseball fans are going to have a hard time pulling themselves away from the game. As a kid obsessed with baseball, but who was never all that good at playing it in real life, MLB The Show has always been my personal outlet to experience the game like never before. To be able to insert myself into the show and experience the ups and downs of a professional baseball career with Road to the Show has been beyond enjoyable for me throughout the years. If you're a gamer, a baseball fan, or just want to enjoy America's favorite pastime in a new and exciting way, you are going to love MLB The Show 26. Play as your favorite team and franchise players and see if you have what it takes to win your own World Series. Visit MLBthe.show/lockedon and use code LOCKEDON to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection required. Pre-order now. Available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. First question we got here on the docket. We have, well, I guess it's not so much of a question, but I like this one. From Ruben Castillo, he says, I feel like we should use Brandon Garcia instead of Dre Jameson. Because in yesterday's episode, I was saying, I think Dre Jameson's going to make the roster. And you know what? After reading that, I think that actually, he may have a pretty good point. After saying that, I was like, you know what? That actually kind of makes sense. I would not be surprised to see that at all. Garcia, one, is a lefty, so that's good. And then two, I mean, he has some really, really good stuff. His stuff plus stat, that made up stat that we are all talking about this offseason is super good. He has some wicked and disgusting pitches when he can locate them. He struggles a bit with that. We did see that a little bit in the game yesterday, but we also saw a lot of some just crazy wiffle ball type pitches. So that was pretty cool. So I could totally see him being the one that gets the start on opening day, or not the start, but hitting the roster on opening day. Ruben also asks, what do you think about doing what the Dodgers did and change a starter to a closer? Because the Dodgers did it with Roki Sasaki. I think that's not a bad way to go at all. I don't know that we have any starters that I would really do that with. I mean, the only starter, like right now, we have Michael Soroka, who I think is going to fill more of a long relief position. I mean, maybe they'll try him as a closer, see how that goes, but I think he has just as much of a closer ability as any other guy. But we'll see. I guess potentially once Corbin Burns comes back, I'd be curious to see like what happens to the rotation then. Do you take Eduardo Rodriguez and make him a closer? That could be interesting. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think you want to take Pfaadt or Nelson out of the rotation. And Gallen and Kelly, I don't think they'll go out of the rotation either. So I think it kind of has to be Rodriguez, though we're paying him a lot of money. But if we were to say, hey, you're going to be a closer, then I could see that being a little bit more enticing for him. But good question. Yeah, I think we would maybe need to sign somebody additional with that in mind. Which if our new assistant GM, pitching development expert, looks at a starting pitcher and goes, this guy is not super great, but he has exactly what a closer needs. Then, so let's sign him because he stinks. His numbers are horrible because he's not a good starting pitcher. So we can get him for a good deal, but then turn him into a closer. That I think is a great strategy and a good plan. I don't know that they've found anybody like that, but I think that always works. We have Brad said, always a great hat. Thank you. I have a lot of really nice hats. I've been obsessed with buying hats lately. I have a hat rack right here of all the different, hats and stuff. So, and if you guys are just listening to this, just imagine I'm wearing really cool Diamondbacks hats. Ballhead says offense is top heavy, plus Hoffman and Garcia have looked great. If Stroud could have looked better, we would have had a great spring training so far. Jameson has been disappointing, though. He has been a bit disappointing, for sure. And I watched him a lot in the fall league, and he didn't blow anybody away either. He's got like his fastball is really fast. He's got a really good heater, but I think he still just needs a bit of time and a bit of consistent playing time to get everything kind of dialed in. Stroud, definitely not quite there yet. But that could just be a case of it's spring, getting everything going again. He hasn't really, like, this will be his rookie season, so he's never done a full season, full off season, and then back into a full season. Like, this is kind of a new, I imagine, I guess, I don't know. We ought to see if I can get one of these. Maybe I can get Cade Stroud on the show, but I imagine that's got to be kind of a hard transition. And so that's something that I wouldn't be surprised if that's just a challenge for him. And once he gets that transition past that transition, then maybe he kind of shows a lot more promise. But Andrew Hoffman's look good. I don't know that I'd put him at opening day roster good. But I don't know. Actually, I haven't looked at his spring training stats so far. Oh, actually, not too bad. In 4 games, 4 2/3 innings pitched, he's only given up 1 run, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I take it back. Andrew Hoffman is looking really good. Okay. I think it's just the last outing he had, he gave up a run, and so that left a bad taste in my mouth. So yeah, great. Okay. Well, yeah, Hoffman and Garcia looking great. The offense, it is top heavy, but it's got a really, this doesn't work with the metaphor, but it's a big top. I mean, you have Carroll, Marte, Perdomo, you have Moreno, you have, I expect, Lawler and Thomas to be performing much better. You also have Pavin Smith. Nolan Arenado isn't going to be like a top contending hitter, but he will contribute. I don't know. I think I think if what you're saying is that like the bottom of the lineup isn't super great, that I can understand. I mean, first base, unless Smith is playing first base every day, Carlos Santana isn't going to be doing much. Honestly, Nolan Arenado is not going to be contributing a ton either. And then but as I mean, other than that, we got a lot of pretty good offense. So I don't know that I necessarily do agree that the offense is top heavy. I think it's pretty well distributed, actually. But I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? The Godfather says the D-backs stars are in the WBC and Carroll is injured. So what do they do in spring training the next few weeks? Or so what they do in spring training in the next few weeks is no indication of what kind of team they will be exactly. And so the way they're performing right now as a team, I'm really not that concerned about. I'm really just watching the players that are here right now and how they're doing. And in this last game, we got a really good outing from Pfaadt and Lawler. So very exciting. MP5, hey, we got a break in relation to Merrill Kelly and Corbin Carroll actually like recovering from their injuries and they're going to be back. Definitely stoked Carroll and Kelly are coming back soon, but I'm still pulling hard for Thomas. He's been doing really well in the WBC. Hope he can keep it up. He has been, and he's been doing well in spring training as well. So I think this is probably what we're going to be seeing more of from Alek Thomas. So yeah, if Alek Thomas and Jordan Lawlar are killing it, and then you pair that with Corbin Carroll, and sooner than we expect, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., we have a pretty good outfield, pretty really good defense, and pretty darn good offense as well. So again, I don't know. I something in my gut tells me that the Diamondbacks are in for a good year this year. Now, a few injuries could completely derail that. I understand, but I don't know. I'm just feeling pretty good about it. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments. I read all of them and I try to respond to them, all of them, either in the text on there or in the show. If you want to leave a comment, you can go to YouTube at Locked On Diamondbacks, leave it there on one of the videos. That's the best way to reach me, and let me know your thoughts. And I absolutely love hearing it. Anyway, be sure to follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Locked On Diamondbacks. We're on YouTube and every other place you get your podcasts. If you want to see more of me, you can find more of my YouTube channels and projects at my website, slackshack.tv. And if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Diamondbacks ad-free, plus a members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedondiamondbacks.supercast.com to join the club. Thanks again, and I will see you tomorrow.